you guys doing, man? You guys ready for today? I'm super hyped, man. Let's get this thing going. So, I'm in the mood for some rice and some tuna. But what we're gonna add a little bit of a twist to it. I'm actually gonna do a tuna sauce with a semi-rice pilaf. We have butter, we have flour, we have milk. That's going to be the base for our tuna sauce. We have rice, we have tuna, and again, I have one zucchini. In order to make the tuna sauce, we're just going to get this butter melted. While the butter is melting, I'm going to go ahead and start washing my rice. So I'm using 1 coffee mug of rice, and I'd say just 1 and a little bit. 1 and a little bit of water. It's going to absorb that. Always remember, salt your water when you're cooking rice. You always want to add salt at the beginning of your cooking method because, for one, it seasons it much better. Now, as you can see here, our butter is beginning to melt, which is fine. When our butter melts now, we're just going to combine the flour and whisk that in. Now our butter is nice and foamy and crackly, letting me know that it's ready. And I didn't measure this out, but the rule of thumb is you really want to try and use equal amounts by weight of butter and flour. So I get this here, get it whisked in. And what we're creating here is roux, which is where I get my name from. You know, so this stuff just comes together and thickens it up. So make a nice creamy roux here. Now at this point, as you can see, our roux has cooked out a little bit. It's changed in color. So we're going to go ahead, add the milk to that. And we begin to whisk that a little bit. Bring that to a boil. And as it begins to cook out, it'll start to expand on its own. So we season here with a little bit of salt. And a little bit of white pepper. Now, our rice has been washed perfectly until we get a clear passing of water. What we're doing when we wash it is we're trying to get rid of all the starch, which is what causes it to get, when you cook rice, sometimes you find that it gets clumpy. So to the pot, 1 stir, move it all around, and then we bring to a boil, and then lower, drop the heat right down to a simmer. Okay, there you go. As you can see here now, our cream is beginning to thicken, this is the base for the French sauce Bechamel, which is just a white sauce. And our rice has begun to absorb the water, and you really want to do this over as low as heat as possible because you can see some residual starch coming up there. So I'm just going to transfer this to the lowest possible flame that it can, and allow time for it to absorb the liquid. So this is the process of dicing, at which point you could literally, if you cut something small enough like this, you can eat it raw. Like, if you really wanted to be fancy, you could call this a tartare of zucchini. but it's not really an essential. Now as you look at the sauce, you can literally see it starting to thicken up a lot already. Find that your sauce is a little bit too thick, which I think this one is a little bit, just add a little bit more milk, dilute it. Or you can add water, or you can even add chicken stock. You can add literally virtually any liquid that you want to this. Now what I'm gonna do now is I add the tuna. And I'm gonna add half of my zucchini. Now notice I only use the outside of the zucchini because this is mostly butter. It's not gonna taste very good. That stuff is not gonna be tasty part. And this is what I want there. This is the nice crunch, this is the nice flavor, and most of the flavor of courgettes or zucchini is actually in this part right here, the outside. So I'm just gonna add half of it here, and the other half I'm gonna stir through my rice again. Alright, now our rice is perfectly cooked, as you can see here. So we're just going to fluff it a little bit, and I'm going to finish off the steps of the pilaf. Now this is not a true pilaf because it wasn't cooked in pilaf or pilau method, but it's a mock pilaf, which is it's pretty much a rice salad. So I scoop out some of the rice here. Remember, not necessarily scooping out all because I can use that rice later and recycle it into anything. I chop my courgettes in. I got a little bit of spring onion here. Just gonna whack that in. Some nice chopped thyme. A splash of lime juice for acidity. And if you want, you can add some chili flakes, and to be honest, you can add whatever you want at this point. I mix it around, and also, just to bind it, I add just a little bit of our tuna sauce. And then you get that. I'm gonna get some dry roasted peanuts in there to add a little bit of texture. And then just add a few here. So, serving is quite simple. You know. Tuna sauce. Since I like spring onions, let's just get a few more around in there. And then garnish with a little bit more of the crushed peanuts. And there you have it. I mean, you know what them fish thing you so still now? Oh, the peanut fish are bad, eh? Follow my brethren on them channel still. Make sure you subscribe. They really follow up on the fish thing, but see a bad. Oh.